Good evening, everyone. This is Radhika Chopra with my Tuesday's IGTV Live. I'm going to wait for a few minutes because I have gone live a few minutes before schedule. Just wanted to make sure that you can hear me clearly before I start today's topic. And we'll wait for some people to join in as well. It's great to have interaction and your questions. That gives me an insight as to what you're looking for, what kind of information you're looking for, what can you add to what I know, and anything that's interactive is much better. So I'm going to wait for a few minutes. So starting with today's IGTV live is the topic that is actually a continuation from the last week, which was about breaths. I would really suggest that you go back to that video and have a look at it, where I spoke about pranayam and breathing and kriyas and how helpful that is. So it was just a small little introduction to this topic. And during that live TV, I had a few questions, and a lot of people have sent me their questions regarding breaths and pranayam and kriya, as well as the topic of kundalini. Now, the kundalini topic is a very mystical word. Some of us have heard of it. Actually, most of us may have heard of it. But it seems like something that we don't know much about. It's too out there, it's too mystical, and it's really, really far for the common person to have any experience of it. And I think the information, we have a lot of information everywhere. Hi Pooja, thank you for joining in. So we have a lot of information on this topic, but I think my attempt here is to share what I know. So one of the questions that came in was about the spiritual connection to pranayam and breaths. Again, in our culture, we are not new to this. We have a fair bit of information on it. But I'm going to share with you what I have experienced and understood about it so far. So we know that doing certain breathing exercises or pranayams has physical benefits, right? It helps you to increase your lung capacity. There's oxygenation in your cells. There's detoxification from your body, and there is cleansing of the nasal passage, and so on and so forth. So there are a lot of physical benefits. There are also mental benefits. It is said that doing pranayams and kriya, or any breathing practice, helps you to gain a calmer mind. And although I feel that it is not always immediate, because each one of us has got a very different psychological and mental setup, and we all are working through different mental impressions. So it is an unfolding, it's actually a process. But definitely, one of the benefits on the mental level is a calmer state of mind, more clarity. Plus, I think routines are always good, because that's how I feel. It gives you a certain system to start your day. And I think when there is a certain system in place, the routine and the system gives you a sense of stability. It gives you a sense of purpose. You know that you're going to get up, and this is the time that you will have for yourself, where you will invest in some activity which is basically an investing in ourselves. Now, I know a lot of people say, me time. A lot of the me time is engagement in either cell phones or even distraction of reading a book or watching a TV. But I think the true me time is when you are having a experience with yourself, within yourself. And I think that is essentially got, the way I know it, is through breath. So that's the real me time. So having a routine while you do any kind of practice, whether meditation or breaths, it is really spending time and journeying within yourself. That truly is the me time, right? Now, then the third benefit is the spiritual benefit, which is really the topic of this video. Now, I know a lot of us are not on any such quest consciously. A lot of us are not, and a lot of us are. The point here is that the spiritual benefit or the spiritual well-being is the fundamental stage. It's actually the foundation on which your whole life is built. Whether you know it or not, whether you acknowledge or not, whether you tend to it or not. But I think it is built from there on. So what does spiritual benefit really mean? It doesn't really mean that, I'm not talking about the new age concepts of spirituality. I'm talking about, your quality of your consciousness. Because we can talk to someone, get ideas, get mental clarity, get, a certain structure about how we should approach something in life. And so these are all done at a mental level, at a personality level, which is fine because that's also helpful. But nothing really changes for us until the consciousness is changed around it. That means the energy shifts around it. That is possibly the only true change. So I think any breathing practice, any routine where you're investing in yourself with meditation and breaths, spiritual breaths, or any breath any kriya that you do, sort of feeds this, every day it's like you're watering a plant. You are tending to the very foundation of your life. So this morning I remembered a story, and I'm going to try and recollect it as I speak to you. It's not a very uncommon story, and I don't know whether you've heard of it. Now this story is about Hanuman and Shani Dev. So I don't know how many of you've heard this. I'm sure people who've dabbled in astrology may have heard of these things, but I'm going to try and recollect what I know and very quickly go through it. So it is said that Ravan was he was a very knowledgeable man, right? He was an accomplished scholar, and he was also a great astrologer. So it is said that he took all the grahas, when I say grahas, all the planets, and his son was to be born, and he captured all the grahas and he put them in the 11th house of his son. The reason I'm thinking he put it in the 11th house is because 11th house is about gains in life. So possibly that's what he did. So he captured all the grahas and he put them in this space. But the only planet he could not capture was Shani Dev. So he was very, very upset, and apparently it is said that Shani Dev was actually he was captured by him and put into prison, and the person who released Shani Dev from that bondage was Hanuman. So that's roughly what the story is, and of course there are more details and interesting. So these mythological stories, or these stories, I don't want to call them just myths. These stories are beautiful stories which give us the greater understanding about life. So why do I speak about this particular story here? See, Hanuman is often called the Pavan Putra. Okay, so he is also the one who. So the Pavan Putra is the Vata dosha, the Vata element in the body, which is, and one of the aspects of Vata is prana, right? And what is Shani? Shani is the dispenser of karma. And in our lives, we all have come here to work through certain karma. It doesn't matter what people say, that there is no such thing as karma. I don't have the arrogance to say it, because I cannot, take away that portfolio from Shani. So I will not be doing that, right? The thing is that you and I, each one of us, have come here to fulfill a certain purpose, to endure, to complete certain things. Now, certain karmas, as I mentioned in my previous video, are drid or adrid. Adrid means that which is not fixed, and drid means that which is fixed. So, incidentally, a week back, I came across an Instagram post which spoke about yoga, if I'm not mistaken, and it said that it gives us the ability to it takes away that which we needn't endure. So those things that you need not suffer through, it is released or it is dissipated, and that which you have to go through, you get the ability to go through it. You have the endurance to go through it, okay, and the strength to go through it, the will to go through it, and the perseverance to go through it. So Shani Dev is typically to do with karma, and so we have these different badhas, these knots, these obstacles as we call, and that's why Shani Dev is so related to obstacle, and that's why people don't like that very much. Life is not always fun and games, so there is certain times we have to go through obstacles which are for our own growth. So I brought these two elements together, Hanuman and Shani Dev, and I said, well, if prana is what releases these karmic knots, so that is the way I understand the breaths, and that's the very simply, probably in oversimplified way, I'm trying to explain to you that is the purpose of breaths. So the question that came to me, and I don't want to extend this video as a very long video, because most of us don't have attention more than that of a goldfish, and I know people cannot go through very, very long videos. So I'll try and keep it short and then do another one next Tuesday. So the question was about Kundalini that came in. So this word is very mystical, but really what is it? It is really your potential, your creative potential, which is lying dormant or latent within you. And the whole process is about awakening this potential. In a householder's life, it is about awakening this potential in your daily living, so that you can think better, you can respond to life better, you can manage your emotions better, you can have greater quality of consciousness, greater quality of thought, as well as different potentials that you had no idea that existed in you, and they start to flower in you. So that is what Kundalini really means, potential, right? Now, any breaths that you do, and this is really, really important, any breaths that you do, I think it's extremely, and I could not really understand this before, I could not understand the gravity of this before, but I can say 10 years with this experience, that I think it's really essential for us to have somebody or a place or a body to go to, which can help you to understand and get an insight, sort of guide you on this path. Because when we don't understand what is happening, it leads to a lot of confusion. And confusion tends to always lead to fear. So, and then the fear is what stops you, or fear is what will entangle you. So I think when we are doing any breathing practice, it's really important for us to have access to someone who has had an experience. Not to give you the answers of what it means, but really for you, they will direct you within yourself to find out what it means to you. So that's an important part. Now, why spiritual? I mean, why you and I are interested in anything about spiritual? So it reminds me of what my guru once said, Guruji said that, we are on this wheel, this Ferris wheel. Have you ever seen a hamster going on the Ferris wheel? It's just going round and round and round endlessly. So that's how we are going through life. We are going round and round. And if you're a believer of lifetimes, you're going round and round the same way, lifetime to lifetime. The same old things, the same old problems, same old sufferings, everything. So she said, if you do not know when to jump off the wheel, you will be thrown off. And I think that's really important. Most of us are waiting to be thrown off. We are waiting for ourselves to reach a point in our life where we feel perhaps defeated in some sphere of life. Till everything is comfortable, we do not think of these things. That's what happens when there is a crisis. I think in this, since January, since COVID has come up, I do not think humanity has ever thought, prayed, reflected, or chanted, or, done any prayers as much as they have done now. It's because we feel vulnerable. And when we feel vulnerable, we reach out to that which is beyond us, that greater power, that hope, that light, that faith. But the point here is that it is important for us to have access to that eternal light, that grace, that, the word just slipped me, but I think you understand what I mean, is that we are looking to anchor ourselves, anchor ourselves completely in, and all times, in that one source, that is the source of our life. If we lived our life through all our troubles and through all our ups and through all our downs with connection with that source, I think we would have lived our life very well. And I think that is probably the most important, evolution I feel is inevitable. We all are evolving, in some way or the other. You don't do it now, you'll do it 500 years from now. But you will evolve. And you'll do it at your own pace. We just don't want to make it very painful for ourselves. We want to, seize the opportunities we are actually having right now to be able to jump on to the wagon which is taking us to this place of a more refined consciousness and more wisdom in our daily living. Every single day we are going through our ups and downs, every day like yo-yos. Today if someone said something nice to you or liked your post 10 times more, you are happy. If somebody went and said something to you which was in disagreement or upsetting, or they did not fulfill your expectations, you are upset and you are sad. So every day we are going through this yo-yo effect. There is no equanimity in life. And I think the breaths or any breath that you do is a connection to that equanimity in life. It brings you into that state. So that is what I wanted to share with you today. I know there are people who've asked other questions, which I will, since we've started the topic of Kundalini, I got 2 or 3 different questions which I will go through, and I will make my next video on that. So please stay tuned. The questions are related to how does Kundalini awaken, and what do we do with that, and there are a couple of more questions which I will go through. So I hope this video was a little helpful for you. If you want to go a little deeper into a certain topic or you have certain questions, please feel free to inbox me or message me, and I will be happy to share my insights about it. And keep breathing. And it's nice. This is a great time for us to begin a routine. Do something, wake up early in the morning perhaps, and mornings are the best time to do it, because every time we leave it for, I will do that at 10 o'clock after I finish the cooking. It usually does not stay very long. It's not a routine we can really stick to. So wake up even 20 minutes before everyone gets up, and then make it half an hour before I get up, an hour earlier. And I think it's really, really nice. And I have, and I will admit it here, I have a tendency to sometimes check my phone about something, and I realize how detrimental that is. I think I just saw a post today by Vamana Shastri ji, which said that don't keep looking into your screen. It's a two-dimensional space, and it's not the real world. Look into space. Where do we even look into the skies? Do we look at the night sky? Do we look into the vastness, into the horizon, whatever is the view from our house? So we don't have an expanded focus. We've been talking so much about focus like this, like we have a pinpointed focus on this one object, that we're missing out on the entire life as it's happening around us. But when we open our focus, there's an open focus, all of life and everything is more available to us. So with that, I will end my video. Thank you for joining me, those who did and those who didn't. I hope you can watch it a little later, and do send me your questions and feedback. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.